The estate kitchen is silent, save for the slow drip of coffee. Rico moves with a certainty that doesn't belong to an actress playing a part.
Black, no sugar, 2 fingers of steamed milk. He never asked. She just remembered.
A sharp ring shatters the quiet. The front doorbell. Through the frosted glass of the main entrance, a silhouette takes shape. Light hair, poised elegance, and a threat Rico hoped would never come.
That silhouette. It's Akari. She tracked us here.
Rico's feet refuse to move. Every practiced gesture of the last 2 weeks evaporates.
This is the moment the script runs out. I have no lines for the real X.
Her heart hammers against her ribs. The contract never prepared her for this.
I can't let her see that I care, because caring means the act is over.
And yet, her hand reaches for the door. She has to face her, but she's never been less prepared. 2 weeks earlier, Rico's apartment is plastered with audition flyers, everyone a closed door.
Another rejection. The rent is overdue. I didn't eat properly this week.
She had trained for the stage, but the stage had no room for her.
When the agency called with a special assignment, I thought, this is a job. Just a job.
The agency office was sleek and cold, exactly the kind of place that sold lies.
1 month. Fake girlfriend to Yuto Mori, heir to the Mori hospitality dynasty.
The agent explained. His family wants him to reconcile with his manipulative ex. Rico's role was to be a better distraction.
I'll do it. But I'm not responsible if his family doesn't buy the act.
On the agent's desk, a framed photo caught her eye. A young man with sharp black hair and a smile that didn't quite trust the camera.
So that's Yuto Mori. He doesn't look like the spoiled heir I expected. But it doesn't matter. This is just a job.
The luxury sedan glided through the city, but Rico felt every bump. Beside her, Yuto Mori was not what she expected.
He hasn't asked me to act yet. No charm offensive, no rehearsed lines, just quiet.
My family's estate can be overwhelming. If you need a moment to yourself, there's a library no one uses.
Then the lakeside estate emerged through the trees, a monument to old money and colder expectations. Rico stepped out onto the gravel driveway, the mansion looming. She straightened her posture like a costume. Before she could reach for the heavy door, Yuto was there, holding it open without a word.
He held the door like it was the most natural thing. Not a performance, a reflex.
Inside, the grand hall was lined with portraits of stern ancestors. Every gilded frame seemed to ask who she was.
They're just paintings. They don't bite.
This isn't what I prepared for. He's not cold, he's careful. And that makes the lie harder to hold.
At the long dining table, Yuto's father sat like a judge. Every glance weighed Rico's cutlery placement, her posture, the pauses between her forced smiles.
He's cataloging every mistake. I can feel it.
You'll get used to the formalities. My father's silence is more about tradition than hostility.
As the evening dragged, Yuto's hand moved under the tablecloth, a fleeting brush against her knuckles, not to perform, but to steady her.
That touch wasn't in the script. And it's the first time I felt safe here.
Later, in the cavernous guest room, Rico sat on the bed, the contract crumpled in her bag. She pulled it out, reading the clauses she had already memorized.
He takes his coffee black with steamed milk. He prefers the library after dinner. He doesn't talk about his ex. None of this was in the briefing.
A cold realization crept up her spine. She wasn't just collecting intel for the act. She was noticing him. The real him.
Stop. This is a job. You don't get to have feelings. You don't get to confuse the lines.
But as she tucked the contract away, her hand lingered on the paper too long. The first crack was already forming. The next morning, they walked the lake in easy silence, more real than any scripted affection.
He doesn't try to fill the quiet. He shares it. Like solitude that welcomes someone else.
I come here to think. The water doesn't ask questions my family won't stop asking.
By week's end, her hands knew his coffee order before her mind caught up.
Black. No sugar. 2 fingers of steamed milk. When did the note taped inside the cabinet become unnecessary?
She froze, the coffee pot trembling. This wasn't method acting. This was the first truth she'd felt in years.
I've fallen for him. Not the fake boyfriend, the real man. And there's no contract term for that.
A car pulled up outside. Through the kitchen window, she saw pale hair and a confident stride.
That's Akari. She tracked us here, and I've just admitted the truth to myself.
The front doorbell rang. Rico stood paralyzed, coffee stone cold in her grip. The door swung open, and Akari stepped inside as if she owned the place, her gaze scraping over Rico like she was furniture.
You must be the distraction. How resourceful of Yuto to hire someone so forgettable.
Yuto appeared in the hall, his polite mask slipping the moment he saw who had arrived.
Yuto, darling, you look exhausted. Has this girl even noticed? We need to talk alone.
Before Yuto could object, Akari steered him toward the library. Rico watched, her fingernails cutting into her palm.
Remember our summers here? You promised I'd be the only one you shared your manuscripts with. Has she seen them?
She's touching him like she has a right. This isn't scripted concern. This is rage. He's clearly uncomfortable. Step back now.
Yuto's gaze snapped to Rico, not with gratitude, but a quiet, searching astonishment. No one had ever stood between him and Akari before.
That wasn't acting. That wasn't in the contract. What have I just done?
Akari swept out of the library, but the venom in her parting glance promised this was far from over. The silence she left behind was heavier than her words. Yuto turned to Rico, his composure fractured.
Rico, no one has ever done that for me. Thank you.
The shake in his voice hit harder than any praise. This wasn't gratitude he was feeling. It was something more dangerous. I need to... Excuse me.
Yuto stood by the window, watching her retreat through the downpour, his hand pressed to the cold glass.
Keep monitoring the situation. Once the other sister is broken, he'll have nowhere else to turn.
In her room, Rico grabbed the contract from the nightstand, crumpling it in her fist as if she could erase its terms.
I broke every rule I set for myself. I let him see how I feel. Now Akari will use it against both of us.
Outside her door, the sound of Akari's heels clicked past, a deliberate signal that the game was only beginning. That night, the storm had passed, but Rico couldn't stop shaking. She slipped onto the balcony, desperate for cold air to numb her panic. Yuto followed, a wool blanket draped over his arm. He hadn't said a word since the library.
You've been avoiding me all evening.
He brought a blanket. Again, no script told him to. That's what terrifies me.
What you did in the library. I need to know. Was that part of the contract?
It's my job. Nothing more.
Yuto's expression didn't change, but his eyes shuddered. He didn't believe her. The next morning, the dining room felt like a tribunal. Akari had spent the night whispering poison into the family's ear.
Did you know she's a struggling actress? This must be the biggest role she's ever landed.
The staff's smiles don't reach their eyes anymore. The contract was supposed to protect me. Now it's a cage, and the latch is slipping.
In the East Wing's shadowed corridor, Akari's hand shot out, blocking Rico's path. No witnesses, just the two of them.
Rico, isn't it? Your mother's name was Chiyo. She left you nothing, and that's just the beginning.
My mother's name. How does she know? Nobody knows that name.
I arranged this little contract. The agency? Mine? The fake girlfriend role? Tailored for you?
This isn't a job. It's a trap. And she's been watching me fall the whole time.
You thought you could play a part, but you walked straight into my revenge. And you don't even know why.
Revenge? I've never met you before. What did I ever do to you?
Some debts are inherited. Your mother took what was mine. Now I'm taking what you've started to cherish.
Inherited debts? My mother? The inheritance dispute? It was real, and Akari is part of it.
Akari's heels clicked away, leaving Rico pinned to the wall by the weight of a grudge she didn't understand. Rico stumbled into her room, her hands shaking as she unzipped the hidden compartment of her bag. She hadn't opened it in years. Beneath old scripts and rejected headshots, her fingers found the torn photograph she hadn't looked at since childhood.
The other half of this photo was always missing. Now I know who she was.
A memory flashed, a summer gathering. A child with light hair glaring at her across the room, a mother's stern voice separating them.
Mother never explained why we couldn't be together. She only said some debts can't be paid.
The disputed inheritance that destroyed her mother now had a name, Akari, the older half-sister she was forbidden to know.
By my mother's choice, I lost a sister. And that sister has been planning this revenge for years.
The contract wasn't a job. Akari had designed it so Riko would fall for Yuto, only for her to be destroyed by the truth.
She wanted me to love him so she could take him away. This isn't a breakup. It's annihilation.
Riko clutched the torn photo, her reflection split by the jagged tear. The fake relationship was a family war, and she was the battlefield.
I have to be strategic. If I break now, she wins. I need evidence he can't ignore.
She began to track Akari's patterns, the late-night calls, the couriered legal envelopes she thought no one else noticed.
That lawyer's letterhead, it's the same firm that handled the inheritance dispute. Proof she's connected.
But before Riko could gather more, Akari enacted her next play. A sudden, theatrical collapse in the foyer, gasping for air.
She cornered me. She threatened me, and now I can't breathe.
Family members rushed to Akari's side, their accusing glares pinning Riko against the wall without a word.
Everyone, let's not jump to conclusions. Riko, what happened?
If I explain, I sound insane. If I stay silent, I'm guilty. She's cornered me perfectly.
The clock on the mantelpiece ticked louder than ever. The contract would expire in 3 days, and her position was crumbling. Akari's eyes, half closed in feigned distress, found Riko's and glittered with cold victory. The penultimate day arrived in silence. Riko moved like a ghost, counting the hours until she could escape. Akari intercepted her in the conservatory, alone among the ferns. This time, no witnesses, no pity play.
I wanted you to fall for him. The coffee, the quiet walks, I made sure you'd sink deep before I surfaced.
She's admitting the entire plan. My phone is in my hand, one button, and I have her.
Your feelings were real, weren't they? I could see it in your eyes when he touched your hand. That's when I knew my plan was working.
You've said enough. I have it all recorded. I'm ending your game right now.
Play that tape anywhere, and I'll reveal how your mother stole the inheritance. You'll lose everything, the estate, the remnants of your name.
She's right. The legal battle would swallow me whole, and Yuto would become collateral damage.
The contract would end tomorrow. Riko saw no path that didn't end in destruction.
If I love him, I have to leave him. It's the only way to protect us both.
The final morning of the contract broke gray and cold, a steady rain streaking the windows. Riko's bag was already zipped when Yuto appeared in the doorway, his face unreadable.
You're leaving. The contract ends tonight.
His voice cracked. I can't turn around. If I see his eyes, I'll shatter.
Riko, I want to extend the contract. Not for my family. For me.
The words hung in the air like a promise Riko couldn't accept, not with the truth burning a hole in her pocket.
I can't. The act is over. There's nothing real here.
Yuto's hand dropped. He didn't believe her. She could see it in the clench of his jaw, but he stepped aside, letting her pass. The front door slammed behind her. Rain swallowed the sound almost mercifully as she stumbled down the steps. At the end of the driveway, she looked back once. Through the rain-grayed window, Yuto hadn't moved, a frozen silhouette against the glass.
Goodbye, Yuto. Loving you was the only real thing I never planned.
3 months of silence had shrunk Riko's world to a single sunless room. She left only to fail another audition.
The casting directors said I lacked fire, but it was still there for a man I can't stop loving.
Yuto's search led him through dead ends and paid off contacts until a crumpled theater flyer stopped his breath. Inside, dusty and forgotten, the stage held a ghost he recognized. He took a seat in the back, unseen. Under the spotlight, Riko's monologue was flawless and utterly empty. The emotion was missing.
That presence. I know it. He's here. My heart just confirmed it.
Yuto didn't move, but his eyes, fixed on her, held a question 3 months old.
I can't look. If I look, I'll break character. If I break character, I'll break completely.
The drama dwindled at the edges. The real story was the tension between the watcher and the watched. When the curtain fell, neither moved. The silence said everything. Backstage, the air was thick with old velvet and shattered dreams. Yuto found her among the prop crates, her hands trembling over a crumpled script.
Rico, I've been looking for you since the day you left.
She didn't turn. The director, Takeda, emerged from the wings, clipboard pressed to his chest like a shield.
She's a ghost, that one. Turns down work, can't channel emotion. Every night I find her crying in the dressing room.
Yuto's face darkened. He stepped between Rico and the exit, his presence an unspoken command.
This isn't your problem, Yuto. The contract is over. Move on.
But her voice splintered on move on, and the tears she'd locked away began to slide down her cheeks.
Then why are you falling apart? I see it. Everyone sees it. What happened after you left?
I can't tell him about Akari. If I open my mouth, the legal jaws will snap shut. He'll be dragged into the ruins.
Yuto didn't retreat. He was done with silence. The wall she'd built was cracking, and he pushed closer, refusing to let her disappear again.
The contract wasn't a job. It was a trap. Akari set it up to destroy me because she's my half-sister.
The words tumbled out messy, broken, every secret she'd bled to protect.
Akari? Your half-sister? She orchestrated everything?
She wanted me to fall for you so she could rip it away. And if I expose her, I lose the last thing my mother left me.
Yuto stared at her, the pieces slotting into place. Not a betrayal, a sacrifice. Without a word, he closed the distance and pulled her into his arms tight, refusing to let go.
I don't care about any of that. I only care about you.
He's not running. He's holding me like I'm the one worth protecting. But Akari will destroy us both. She'll contest the inheritance, drag you into a legal war. I can't let that happen.
Yuto's arms didn't loosen. The embrace became a shield, and in its shadow, Rico felt the first tremble of a truth she couldn't yet accept. She was not alone.
I'm not letting her win by silence. I'm going to face her, and I need you to trust me.
She'll twist everything. She'll claim you're complicit, that we plotted against her.
But the reply never came. Through the grimy window of the backstage door, a pale figure trembled with barely contained rage. The door burst inward. Akari stood in the frame, her voice slicing the air.
You think you've won? I made you love him just so I could watch you lose him.
Yuto's expression hardened, but not from surprise, from a cold, final understanding. Crew members gathered in the wings, frozen witnesses. Akari pressed forward, her words spilling venom for all to hear. The fake contract, the half-sister, the planned heartbreak.
I wanted her destroyed, Yuto. And now that you know, it's over. No one will have you.
In the stunned silence, the weight of her admission settled over every witness. There was no walking it back.
You've just confessed to everything, and everyone here heard it.
Takeda stepped forward, his clipboard now a testament. I'll vouch for everything. Within hours, the truth reached the Mori estate. An investigation confirmed Akari's fraud. The family disowned her. The legal trap that had caged Rico crumbled into dust.
The inheritance dispute that kept me silent, it's no longer a weapon. I'm free.
That evening, by the lake where silence had first bound them, Rico and Yuto sat on a worn bench. No contract, no script.
I never needed the contract to know you were real. The coffee, the way you stood between me and Akari, that was you.
He saw through me from the beginning. And he didn't run. I memorized your coffee order because I wanted to. Every gesture I told myself was an act, was the truest thing I've ever done.
Yuto leaned in, and the kiss that followed was nothing like the staged affection of the past. It was a promise, unscripted.
This isn't a role. This is the life I nearly let slip away.
For the first time, the silence between them wasn't heavy. It was home.
I love you, Yuto. Not because of any contract, because of who you are when no one is watching.
I knew it was real when you defended me. No script told you to protect a stranger.
They sat until the stars pierced the summer sky, no longer performing, just two people bound by a truth they had almost lost.
Rico? I've been waiting for the fire to return. This lead role, it's yours if you want it.
My career. A second chance. He saw the change in me before I saw it myself.
Take it. I'll be in the front row for every performance, and after, I'll wait with your coffee.
Then I'll make sure every performance is for you. No more scripts, just us.
That afternoon, Rico stepped onto the stage she used to haunt, but now her voice rang with conviction. The role didn't feel like a costume. It felt like the life she'd finally chosen. At the lake's edge, where silence once held their secrets, Rico held the original contract, the paper that had bound her to a lie.
You kept the real one.
I needed to see it end with my own hands. Not a memory, a choice.
Yuto struck a match without hesitation. Together they fed the paper to the flame, and the contract lit the dusk like a small rebellion. The ink shriveled first, terms and clauses dissolving into smoke. Then the signatures, side by side, turned to ash.
My name next to his. Even as it burned, I felt lighter than I have in months.
Yuto's hand closed over hers, steadying the paper until the last ember fell into the water.
No more scripts, no more roles. I only want the woman who memorized my coffee and stood between me and the past.
I'll spend the rest of my life being her.
The sun set over the lake, and the contract that had started as a trap became the ashes from which they rose. Months later, the theater was packed. Rico stood center stage, every line alive with the fire she once thought she'd lost.
Front row, seat 7. He never missed a performance. His eyes told her she was already the lead in his world.
The ovation thundered, but Yuto's quiet pride was the only applause she truly heard. After the curtain, they met at the corner coffee shop, the one where she once memorized his order by heart.
Here, black, no sugar, 2 fingers of steamed milk. I still make it better than the barista.
Some habits are worth keeping, especially when they started as proof of something you didn't yet know.
Laughter came easy now, no scripts, no subtext, just two people who had chosen each other beyond the page. Their hands intertwined on the table, a delicate ring catching the light, the scar of the past sealed in gold.
This isn't a contract. It's where I belong.
And the coffee cooled, but the warmth between them didn't. They returned to the lakeside, not as strangers bound by ink, but as two people who had walked through fire and refused to let go. Their footprints marked the gravel path, a quiet rhythm without the weight of secrets. Yuto glanced at her, the same gentle half-smile she had memorized months ago, now his permanent expression.
This is the only script I need, his hand in mine, and no curtain call to signal the end.
Her ring, simple and certain, caught the light as their fingers interlaced, a silent vow. The water mirrored the sky, and the wind carried away the last trace of the charred contract, now ashes beneath the soil where flowers grew. They had started with a lie, but every honest moment that followed had rewritten their story. No contract could ever hold what they had built. Real feelings refused to be scripted. All that remained was the shoreline, the silence, and the certainty they had chosen each other.